So Dennis not gonna be here either?
Well, I got.
Follow the pecking order to.
Okay. It's a meeting didn't start.
This is on. They're on.
I got an 87 right there. In the brown.
Oh no,
Okay.
I don't know. Pearl.
Okay.
I started to introduce myself, but I figured, well,
No, I'm gonna wait.
I'm probably too forward as it is. I left my name, county phone.
All right. I've got 10:01. We live? Oh, okay. Sorry. All right, welcome everyone. Good morning. This is October 10th, 2023, 10 a.m. regular session of Commissioners Court, and we also have a special called emergency meeting, also at 10 a.m., and we'll get to that, how we're going to do both of these at the same time. And the special call meeting is going to be just to discuss the burn ban, whether to lift it or to continue it. But at this time, we will start with a confirmation of roll call. Precinct 1? Here. Precinct 2?
Here.
The judge is here. Precinct 3 and Precinct 4 are on vacation. Not together, but they are on vacation, so they are not here. Let the record reflect we do have quorum, though, with the 3 of us present. And with that, we will start with our invocation. And I'm going to ask Commissioner Wayne Faircloth if you'll lead us in invocation, please.
Yes. Our Father, our God, we thank you for your goodness to us, Lord. Thank you for sending rain, and thank you just for being able to manage all the intricacies of the entire world, and yet you care genuinely about us. We just lift up Israel to you and the Middle East and ask you, God, just to send a calm and just have your way there with those people and just protect the innocent as only you can. God, we just ask for wisdom today and favor and grace, the power and the desire to do your will. We thank you for loving us, and we just ask this in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Wayne. Now our pledges.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Again, we have 2 meetings kind of simultaneously, so we're going to pick up the emergency meeting first because that's going to take precedence. And that way our fire department, if they're here today, they can get out here quickly. So we're going to call to order first the 10 a.m. special called emergency meeting of the Lavaca County Commissioners Courtroom to discuss whether to approve lifting or continuing the Lavaca County burn ban. And with that, I'd ask Chief Petrie if you want to come forward and give us your 2 cents on it. And just to make sure we're record for clerk's record, we have a confirmation roll call on that in this meeting.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, how are you?
Good morning, Chief Petrie. How are you, sir?
Good, doing well. So I know there's been a lot of discussion about getting rid of the burn ban, if you will, at this time. You know, it's the Fire Chiefs Association. We've talked. We do have one area that did not get any rain from these last rains. So their KBDI index is actually still pretty high. And I guess the easiest way to say this is I believe we still need to continue this burn ban, and we need to continue it. And I am confident that at the 2-week period, because what we proposed in the beginning is at 500 it automatically triggers, and when it goes above 500 or below 500 for 2 weeks, it automatically comes off. If we did not have this in place, I would say, well, we probably have a discussion, in my opinion. But it's hard for me as a firefighter and as a leader of the fire in Lavaca County to say that those folks over there in the Yoakum, Pilot Grove, and Sweet Home area, well, we're not really worried about you burning down, but the rest of the county is okay, so let's just start burning again. I can't do that. So I say we let it expire as it should, especially with the rains coming, because we have something in place to help protect those folks. Now, if we were going forward with a burn ban, if you will, to start a burn ban, I would say, well, that's a whole different conversation because we don't have anything in place at this point in time, and the whole county, 90% of the county is in good shape. We still have that one portion of the county that's not. So if we didn't have anything in the place, I guess it'd be a different conversation, but as it may, we do have something in place right now to help protect those county citizens. So I think we ought to continue this and help protect them until this expires.
I just want for clarity, you said some people did not get the rains last, I guess it was last Thursday?
Last Thursday,
Last
yes,
Thursday,
sir.
okay. So what specific areas did not get the rains?
I'm being told by the Yoakum Sweet Home chief that some of the Pilot Grove area, basically between the Sweet Home and the Yoakum area, that they didn't get, there's areas out there that didn't get rains.
Okay. But you feel 90% of the county did, and it was a big county, area-wise,
understand
it's
that.
large. And so
Right.
90% of the people are not out of the woods, so to speak, but they got rain.
That is correct. And if we don't get rain this Thursday, the KBDI index will be over 500 probably before that 2-week period. Now, we can have a discussion, we can go back and discuss with some of the Forest Service guys and that kind of stuff. And maybe this 2 weeks is too much. Maybe we reduce that to 1 week after we go below 500. But there again, I always jokingly say, it didn't rain grass. So we've got to give the vegetation a chance to grow and come up in order to protect some of these grounds. And the system is working. We're probably down 25 to 30% on our fires since we've had this. We're not running as many calls as we were because nobody's burning. And to get right down to it, if, anybody wants to go on the TCEQ website and look at the guide to outdoor burning, 99% of what everybody's burning is illegal in the state of Texas. You can't burn boards, you're not supposed to burn plastics, you're not supposed to burn tires. You trim your trees or your brush and you burn it on site. You're not even supposed to remove it from the property and move. So, my opinion and we do have the support of the fire chiefs is that we keep it on until it'll let the 2-week expire. We should be getting rains this afternoon and tomorrow. Even a little bit of rain is going to help that situation, and I think next Thursday it'll probably expire. So if y'all want to speed that up, that's according to the court. If they want to do that,
I would not, we don't have the whole full court here, but I can speak for at least Precinct 3, who's gotten some phone calls on his vacation that, again, if people know our numbers, they're asking questions, they want to burn their garbage that's been stacked
Right.
up. So,
and that's actually in his precinct where it is still dry in areas.
right. So I'd like to hear from each of the court.
I did receive phone calls asking about the burn ban, and they want to know if they can burn. And I said, at this time, you cannot, but we will have a meeting and we will discuss it. But if you're saying parts of the county are extremely dry, we cannot do parts of the county. I do not want to do part of a county. It's either the whole county or none.
Right.
So if parts are still extremely dry, I think we ought to keep it on for a week. Judge, can you cancel a burn ban at any time or put a burn ban in effect at any time?
The way I understand what the judge has the power to do is if I was gonna implement a burn ban, I can do that on my own accord.
Yes.
And 7 days later, the court has to assemble to ratify that decision, or that's gonna go off. So the judge has the power of basically a 7-day window of emergencies to make a decision on the spot. So that's what I was hoping today is, this is we're not meeting or convening again as a court till October 23rd. I was hoping I was hoping to be pouring down raining when we had this meeting. It's not. But I don't think a week is out of the question to ask of people. I know people are getting restless. They've been 4 months now without burning.
Yeah.
It gets.
And
people get
that's
agitated.
understood, it is. It's
Yeah.
gonna be a very busy season. It would definitely, business will pick up in the next week or two.
And we can call another emergency meeting.
Can we do that
Yeah.
in a week?
I mean, we can do that
If we need to.
if we need to.
Need to, we could. And I appreciate your input, because I think it's vital for us to make that decision. And so, as Edward has spoken, the fact that we can have some conformity, some unity across the
Right.
county, it ought to be a countywide decision. So to hold down confusion, if nothing else, because you can burn here, you can't burn, no, let's don't do that.
Right.
Let's just, I'm the opinion, let's just go.
And that's kind of the reason why we use the average and not the readings in certain areas.
Okay.
Because if we did in certain areas, well, the southeast corner of the county probably never would have went under burn ban because they've been fairly wet. So, but, unfortunately, for them, we're using the average, so KBDI reading is, as an average, is, Tim, what was it this morning, 474? 479. So we came up from 463, 462 in about 3 days or almost a week. So we're going to be awful close to that. And if we want to reconvene and we were getting rains and it's continuing to rise, I think we can do that.
It was behind us because that we were so driving so long, we maxed out at a 777, and so with all the rain that we've got, it's just been able to bring that number down.
Right.
400-ish, into the 500 range, so that's the reason why it's taking so much rain to get where we are.
Right, so we're basically,
Where we're at that threshold now.
right, basically we were needing 7.7 inches across the county
Wow.
to make the ground saturated.
Someone was
is
talking
what
this
that
morning, they had
means.
3 inches of rain, but it didn't fill up their cracks.
Right,
So
right.
the water ran off in the ground, and again, I don't think, we have to make decisions that aren't always the popular decision in the county, but we need to make the prudent decision for our fire departments as well. So with that, I'd entertain a motion to extend this for another week.
Make a motion?
I second.
Okay. Motion by precinct 1, second by precinct 2 to extend the current burn ban for at least another week. We'll reevaluate it hopefully next Thursday.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. That motion passes.
Thank you.
We're still under burn ban for at least one more week. Thank you, Chief Petro. With that, I'll have a motion to adjourn the special called emergency meeting.
I move we adjourn the specially called meeting.
Second.
Motion made by precinct 2, second by precinct 1 to adjourn the special called meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, that meeting is adjourned. We're done with that. All right. So we will now open our regular Commissioners Court meeting. The time on that is 10:14. Before we start our agenda items, does anyone have any announcements or anything we want to make as we normally do? Going once, going twice. The only announcement I had was Kenny's Eagle won the domino championship up in Abilene at a conference.
Nope.
And so without him being here, I think I'd be remiss not to point that out. He was very proud of that award.
There was only one team in there.
There was only one team is what we heard, but anyway, he won the trophy and he's proud. I was not there. I was not present for this victory. All right, moving into agenda item number 1. Discuss and approve fiscal year 24 field agreement with Wildlife Damage Management and Predator Control in Lavaca County. That's found on page 4 and 4 through 6 of your packet. It's a standard contract we enter into every year for trapping purposes. And if I understand right, I know we did this in 2020, I think Mark Myers extended it as well as giving this to the extension office to implement. So if you have some, you can call them and get on a waiting list to have the trapper come out to your site. Any questions, comments? Do I hear a motion?
I move we adopt item number 1 to the fiscal year 24 field agreement for wildlife damage management and predator control in Lavaca County.
Second.
Motion made by precinct 2, seconded by precinct 1, to approve the fiscal year 24 field agreement for wildlife damage management and predator control in Lavaca County. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. That motion passes. Item number 2, discuss telecommunications committee update, and that'll be brought to you by the committee chairman of that committee, was EMS Chief Michael Ferd.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, sir.
So it's been probably, I would say, 6 to 8 months since we formed the committee for communications. What it does, the purpose of the committee is to oversee the radio communications for public safety within the county, and also dispatch services, our public safety entities that are out in the county, how they communicate back to dispatch, so on and so forth. And it's been a bit of a road. As most know, we've gone down the road of installing a new public safety radio communications. And real quick, on this committee is Sheriff Harmon, Chief Slock, Chief Petru, which y'all just heard from, Chief Herchek, Carrie Peterson, Greg Morelli, Assistant Chief Decker, and myself. So when we have meetings, we normally have meetings with Motorola or any other new discoveries that we may find throughout going through this process. We do have 3 sites and continue to optimize those sites. We continue to work with Motorola and VCS, Victoria Communications, as well as all emergency services throughout the county. Keep in mind that we not only have EMS, Sheriff's Office, we have 3 and 4, if we count Yoakum as well, police departments. We've got a total of 5 fire departments and EMS as well. So we are tasked to figure out the best coverage of approximately 976 miles of county. So just like we talked about burn ban earlier, this isn't a communication project that's related just to Moulton, Shiner, or Hallettsville. It encompasses the entire county and unincorporated portions of it. Countless hours is what I can tell you. I mean, hours and hours and hours. While we're at work, while we're away from work, I would venture to say close to thousands of miles on vehicles, optimizing and testing coverage areas throughout the county. We continue to work as a committee with Motorola, VCS, Harris Radio, LCRA, in comparing systems, optimizations, and future pathways forward on the system that will work for us for years to come. There's one thing that is very important when it comes to public safety communications for people to know, and for our commissioners court and city councils to know, is this is not something that you just put up on towers and you just leave it alone. This is something that you have to take care of forever. It's not something to be scared about, but it's something that needs maintenance and needs time and attention for the long haul, way after all of us are gone. And essentially, this is just a system that's all shared throughout everybody. We all have different talk groups, all have different frequencies, and we continue to move down the pathway of optimizing our system the best possible way.
Go ahead. Simple question.
Yes, sir.
Chief, has the remote accessibility issue been addressed, or has it been investigated at least?
As far as what? I'm sorry.
Being able to be remote in a remote area and still have access?
It's being optimized as we speak. Yeah, that's part of what we're going through and changing some antenna degrees and moving things from left to right. The microwave system that's involved in this communication system as well. So we continue to work with Motorola, like I say, Harris Radio, LCRA, all kinds of different organizations that are helping us. GDC came in and helped us with some optimization as well.
Okay. I know that we'd had some just mild discussion about a booster system, attached to the unit.
Correct.
That would allow you to have access to communication even in the remote areas of the county.
couple different pathways forward to that, and that we're looking at right now, is that you can, depending on what system that we have, that we're on, you can have optimization from within said vehicle that improves connectivity back to the nearest tower site, or you can improve the tower site itself to try to cover more.
Okay. Okay. All right, well, thank you for the update.
Absolutely.
I'll add this, it's, hindsight's 20/20. You can always look back and say, oh, we should have done this, we should have done that. There's a lot of frustration with a lot of our surrounding counties. We feel like we're all doing this by ourselves. And we've kind of frustrated that maybe TDM didn't take some lead into networking us all together and having an interoperability between all these counties. Golden Crescent is just now getting on the program that, hey, we're having some difficulties out here, and if they put a tower up at Crossroads at 111, it could benefit 4 counties. Well, that would be something value added that Golden Crescent could do for us to benefit 4 and get involved in the tower business. So we're kind of behind the times, I think, is working it from the state top down coming.
I think to segue off of what Judge was saying is that, post 9/11, we were supposed to be working towards, as public safety entities, we're supposed to be working towards integration with other public safety organizations. And so on that pathway is where we come right now to a crossroads, if you will, because we don't get any slower, and I'm just going to speak for EMS, we don't get any slower. There's days and there's weeks that you may find another county's ambulance service in our county helping us out and vice versa, because we're busy. We have less resources. So we're constantly sharing information back and forth, and us not being able to talk to surrounding counties and responding into their county, or they're responding to us, has been a big problem. Shiner Fire Department, Moulton Fire Department, for example, part of our territory actually goes into Gonzales County. So we have a portion of that as well, that we speak to Gonzales. Almost any time that we have a call in Shiner Fire District, they're responding, and we are too, so we have to be able to communicate back and forth the best possible way.
And some of these earlier meetings that I got to sit on was, we may need a tower in Dewey County that's going to best serve us operating in Gonzales, going into Shiner, operating in Gonzales, and vice versa. So we really have to think outside the box and of a broader perspective of how all these counties are going to work together with tower spaces. And basically, that's what we're talking about, tower space.
Yeah, we're talking about tower space.
Tower space and strategic towers to give us better coverage. And that's the bulk of what we're up against.
We have very good working relationships and communications right now. Speaking of the communication committee between, Fayette, Gonzales, Colorado, Jackson County, DeWitt County. So we do have very good communications between them and talking about where their towers are located, height, elevation, above sea level, so on and so forth. I have learned a lot about radio communication in the last 8 to 10 months than I ever planned on in my entire life. I find myself riding around with my wife looking at towers, and she's asking me what I'm looking at. So it's kind of weird, the things that you pay attention to when when you get on a specific, job. So
one of the reasons that I wanted this on the agenda today was just also we discussed it during budget times. This is going to cost us more money. We're going to make this thing perfect or near perfect or correct to protect our officers and firefighters, our EMS as well. It's going to cost us more money. So we're just bridging that gap here, saying it's going to cost us. I need to reach out to our city partners as well, as just to assure them that I think the county is going to pick up this burden. That's what I feel is best, that we keep it a countywide system that we're providing back to the fire departments and the cities. But it's going to take some time before this is finally tweaked.
It will. Nothing when it comes to radio communications happens overnight, and I've had to learn that too, is that you can't just snap your fingers and somebody climb your tower and move something 3 degrees to the left. That's a planned exercise that takes months just for that single operation to do, if that's what needs to be done. So just keep in mind, we are moving forward. I'm glad that you brought that up too, Judge, and that's what I was saying earlier about just maintenance costs. We can have a perfect system, but we'll always have some type of maintenance cost to be able to, the software to work, or to replace something on a tower, coax, you name it. There's always going to be something there. Our job is to try to mitigate that cost the best possible that we can.
Can you give us any idea on time frames?
I would be afraid to tell you a time frame, sir.
I was afraid
I don't want you or the paper to hold me against it.
But I
So,
think,
I would say within the next, within hopefully the next 10 to 12 months, we'll be on a system that's optimized, you know, for our terrain, our coverage that we're looking for. You know, some things that a lot of people don't think about is, Chief Decker was talking about the southeast portion of the county. There's a lot of trees down there. It may not be hilly, it may not have a lot of valleys, but there's a lot of trees. And so we have to think about how we're going to be able to penetrate those trees as much as we possibly can with the radio system. So that's just little stuff. You wouldn't believe the terrain if you've never studied the terrain map of Lavaca County, like we've studied in the last 6 to 8 months. The different parts of terrain that you drive through every day and never realize that may be an issue when it comes to communications. So I'm just glad that we're not in the hill country.
anything else?
Excuse me.
The only thing I would add is just the frustrations from what I'm hearing is you can find an ideal tower spot, but then you have to have an engineer come in and say whether you can do anything with this or not. And
100%.
we found a tower that worked, but they said no, there's $250,000 worth of damages
Right.
to make it. It was
And in order for us to even hang something on that tower, it would cost $250,000 just to fix the issues that were going on with the tower itself. So, you know, there's all kinds of different options, all kinds of different routes. We can build our own towers, we can rent and lease space on different towers that are out there, but at the end of the day, it's about strategic positioning of towers, whether they do exist or don't exist, and then move from there. And one thing is too, with what we're talking about being able to have good partnerships with our counties, is that, for example, there's a county around us that's going to be building a tower that would affect our communications in a positive manner. So they would be building the tower, but it's helping us as far as coverage as well, where we may have a tower that would help them with coverage too. So it is truly a shared project in between counties and working that system the best you possibly can.
and it seems that we have cooperation in a multi-county
Absolutely.
area. So,
Mhm.
all right. Well, thank you for the update, and I look forward to another update in 90 days or so.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
All right. I don't think we have anything to approve on number 2. Item number 3, discuss and approve the disbursement of the county's cash match of $1,534.50 per HDM 2023-154 grant agreement with the Texas Department of Agriculture, Texans Feeding Texans, home delivered meal grant program to Community Connections of Lavaca County. That's found on page 7 and 8.
Your Honor, I make a motion that we approve the disbursement of the county's match of $1,534.50 per HDM 2023-154 grant agreement with the Texas Department of Agriculture, Texans Feeding Texans, home delivered meal grant program.
Okay?
Second.
Motion made by precinct 2, second by precinct 1. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
That motion is passed. Number 4, appoint Tina Stefik as Chief Deputy for the County Clerk's Office effective October 1st, 2023.
Your Honor, I move we appoint Tina Stefak as Chief Deputy for our County Clerk's Office effective October 1, 2023.
I second.
Okay, motion is made by precinct 1, second by precinct 2 to appoint Tina Stefik as Chief Deputy for the County Clerk's Office effective October 1st, 2023. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. That motion passes. Thank you, Tina, and congratulations for your promotion. Number 5, discuss and or approve certificate of exemption from subdivision requirements for Nicole Bell.
Yes, Your Honor, I move that we,
That's found on page 10, by the way. Sorry. Go ahead.
I move that we grant an exemption for Nicole Bell. She is getting a piece of property off of County Road 1G, or she is selling a piece of property. 1 acre, she has 17 acres to a family friend, and it borders County Road 1G, so she's exempt from the subdivision.
Okay. And it's a 1 acre lot?
1 acre, yes.
I second.
Okay. Motion made by precinct 1, second by precinct 2, to approve the certificate of exemption from subdivision requirements for Nicole Bell. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. That motion passes. Item number 6, discuss and or approve certificate of exemption from subdivision requirements for Irene Schulte Estate. And that's in precinct 2, found on page 14 and 17.
Yes, sir. There was a piece of property, rather sizable, that was subdivided back and the court approved that subdivision in June of 2022, before my time. But what's happened is that an old boundary line was used to build a fence, and it's not the current boundary. And so what they're agreed to do is to, rather than tear down the fence and build it again, is just to sell that excess land, which is about 8/10 of an acre, to the person who fenced it. So they're asking for an exemption from our subdivision rules. This is so they're taking part of that 8/10 of an acre and putting it over here, so that it's a simple transaction. And it is exempt from our subdivision rules. So I move that we approve this certificate of exemption from the subdivision requirements for the Irene Schulte Estate.
Second.
Okay. Motion made by precinct 2, seconded by precinct 1 to approve the certificate of exemption from subdivision requirements for Irene Schulte Estate. Any further discussion?
I'll just say this is off of County Road 256, which is Praha to Kaminsky. 256 goes west from there, and so it's that same tract of ground.
Any other discussions? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. All right, number 7, found on page 18 through 23. Discuss and or approve 2024 Lavaca County Resolution Indigent Defense Grant Program. And I'll start the discussion. We've already approved this. The Indigent Defense Commission sent us a resolution. They wanted to have our auditor on there as the chief financial officer of the grant. Actually, it says further be further resolved that the county auditor is designated as the financial officer for this grant. So that's the purpose of the new deal. With that, I'd entertain a motion.
Your Honor, I move we approve the 2024 Lavaca County Resolution Indigent Defense Grant Program.
A second.
Motion made by precinct 1, seconded by precinct 2 to approve the 2024 Lavaca County Resolution Indigent Defense Grant Program. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Just
Okay.
as a clarification, Judge.
Yes, sir.
These funds are coming out of the legislature, out of the state budget.
Correct.
And it's a change, the portion for Lavaca County is what I'm reading here, the 17.5 million. Those funds, what it says. Formula grant amount budgeted. Maybe that's just the entire, no, that can't be the entire.
Yeah, no, we're spending, what, $220,000 a year is what we're getting right now? 2 grants.
What's the second one? Public Defender, okay, sorry.
So, we're matching, 1/3 basically of the state's funds right now to 220, but this year we have 2 grants because we're closing out one with Texas Rio Grande Glade, picking up another grant that we're just creating through the Victoria office. And then there's going to be a lag time of getting this all organized with the court system. This is basically monies provided by the state to provide indigent defense, for criminal indigent defense, which is on, it's on a,
The formula grant is there to assist the county reappoint attorneys
appoint attorneys.
when they do not go to the public defender grant.
Just court appointed?
Formula grant is for that. You have 2 separate grants. One's a formula grant, one's a public defender grant.
Okay.
Just that.
Okay. Then that needs, what Wayne's asking, the 17.5 million, that's the total grant for the program, not, that's, what is our portion of that? 15,000 is what I'm saying. It says every county is eligible to receive a grant of 15,000 plus its share of the remaining funds. So, okay,
What's the share?
They typically do not tell us the exact amount, 'cause this is the formula grant, that's the one we're looking at.
Right.
Yeah,
5 million, that's just the total from the state that is allocated to the commission. And then they have to allocate that out based on how many court-appointed attorneys we actually appoint and just doesn't go to the court. Typically, we'll get that money in the early part of next year.
okay.
Yeah. This may seem redundant, but I just want a clarification. So anyone who does not have the funds available to have legal representation is eligible for these programs?
Each defendant that declares that they are indigent has to fill out an affidavit with a financial pro forma income sheet to show us that they're indigent, and we get to declare whether they are or not. There is a formula in there that there's a criteria, but usually it's pretty weighted. But there's some occasions that myself and Judge Old have struck out someone's affidavit because A, it was filled out incorrectly, or B, we thought they made too much money. And so we did not grant them the privilege of having a court-appointed attorney. But by and large, the criminal element in society will take advantage of whatever they can, and they will declare that they're indigent for free services. That's been my take. That's a whole nother discussion, but this is, again, not for maybe discussion here, but
Yeah.
our jail was 39 inmates this weekend. That's the most we've had in a while, and the criminal element's here, and they're indigent. That's why they're criminals. So it's an epidemic. But are we specifically applying for this, or just something we just get it allocated back to us based on?
If we apply for the formula grant every year, yes, we typically have,
Okay.
for the past 16 years.
Okay.
And those are for the attorneys we appoint.
That we appoint outside of Trala, okay. And that's on the rise too, because they're having some conflicts of caseloads and, okay.
Although the formula grant is, we have it to try to help us save money, because if we didn't have that, we would be appointing numerous court appointments. Otherwise, we go through the court committee. So the judge understands it.
Yeah, well, this is, again, I knew that we had indigent defense grants, 2 of them in play. I'm not aware that we got any other monies for when we're going outside.
I have mentioned this numerous times,
Yeah.
people just don't like to listen.
Sometimes it goes in one ear out the other.
Absolutely,
Do we know how much approximately that is per year?
not very much, usually around the 23,000, 20,000 mark.
But we don't necessarily get to control that number.
We do not control that number. It's based on the number of appointments that we do every year, and I, as the county auditor, given the responsibility of the expenditure report that's due by the 1st of November of every year.
Okay. Good. I see, ma'am, you're shaking your head, so you have some inside information on this?
The public defender director, Texas Real Crime Relief, so I just
So you're with,
TRL.
okay, would you mind just humoring me just to explain a little bit of that, what it is you exactly do? Is that okay?
Spot, but you're stationed here for the court?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm glad you did this.
Yes, thank you. So my name is Kimberly Simmons. I'm the Public Defender Director at Texas Real Crime Legal Aid. And I don't know much about the formula grants because those are outside. We don't get funding. We don't get funding for that. We get funding through the Indigent Defense Sustainability Grant that y'all apply for with TIDC. And historically, it's been through our organization that you apply for the grant through TIDC, and then you're responsible for 1/3 of the total amount that you're given from TIDC. Y'all pay us our whatever the agreed budget is. You're going to be talking about our contract here, number 8, and then you seek that 2/3 reimbursement from TIDC after you get our reports on actual costs and that kind of thing. So that's how that works.
that's the sustainability grant. This
Correct.
one you are applying for is the formula grant, totally separate from what she's talking about.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Correct. And I don't believe that y'all owe any reimbursements or anything. TIDC bases that on some sort of percentage of appointments across the state to counties that apply for the formula grant. So it's just basically something to supplement your budgets to help pay for court-appointed counsel when Trala doesn't take the appointment.
I'm glad we had a discussion. I didn't know that we had any other supplement coming in, even though I probably have been told. I went straight to the signature complaint and looked at what is the indigent defense one of us, and it was the last sentence that said they wanted the county auditor designated as a financial officer for this grant, so I just assumed that was tied to that. But anyway, I think we're on the same page now, so we do have some coverage.
I've always been on the same page.
Oh.
Wait a minute, we all have to be on the same page. Wait,
Ask questions, I'll answer.
okay, we will. That's what, that's on the, yeah,
Hang around right here.
yeah, you're right, yeah.
I'll hang out right here in case there's
We
questions.
passed.
What's the
resolution
difference
7, now
between
we
the two
understand more
grants?
about it. So number 8, discuss and or approve regional public defender contract between the Lavaca County and Texas Rio Grande Legal Aid. And Ms. Kimberly Simmons at the podium. Do you have any questions on this? This is found on page 24 and 24 to 35.
So this is, would this be considered a boilerplate contract, or does it vary from county to county?
So these are the contracts that we use with all the counties that we provide public defense services for.
And how many are those?
We currently have 7, actually 10, but Starr County and Jim Hogg and Duval, they're winding down. Kind of like you guys are, because you'll be moving to the Victoria Public Defender Office soon. The contract before you is a 6-month contract to help with the gap. So it'll take some time for Victoria to get that office up and running, and so we're going to continue to provide services through the grant, through this 6-month contract. This particular contract is slightly different than our years past in that it says we'll take appointments from you through the end of December of this year. Now, depending on how fast the Victoria office is able to staff up, I'm happy to renegotiate that and look at that as we approach the end of December. So if we need to continue accepting assignments, that's okay. We can talk about that. That's not a problem. It'll probably just then extend that 6 months in terms of our wind down, because we'll have a duty to our clients to wind down those cases once we stop taking appointments. We'll wind down those cases, and the contract will move into actuals, and that's something we can talk about in the future. But the indigent defense grant that supports this contract is different than the formula grant. They're completely separate from each other. TIDC bases a formula grant on the number of court appointments y'all have, where this is based on sort of your rural characteristic or demographic. TIDC has what they call sustainability grants for rural counties. Historically, it's been for counties that join together to form a regional public defender office, which is what Victoria is doing
Yes.
through the 4 counties. About a year or 2 ago, TIDC amended their rules to say that a single county could contract with a nonprofit and still be approved for the rural sustainability grant. So that's what this is, and that's our relationship. And so y'all have applied for a grant in a certain amount, which I believe is how much that budget is that's attached to the contract. And again, you guys will pay us monthly under the contract, and then you will seek 2/3 reimbursement from TIDC through the duration of the contract.
Okay. And so the TIDC grant, what is the source of that?
So they get grant funding from the legislature.
Okay.
And so
okay.
they have a fund. Usually grant applications by counties are due in the springtime. Y'all have been, you've had the sustainability grant for a number of years. And so TIDC sort of reserves that amount, and then in the summer you'll talk about whether or not you need to up it or down it. And I believe they approved your funding sometime this summer for a particular amount.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Of course.
There's lots of discussion amongst the counties and district judges as well. This is, the program itself is relatively new in Texas, correct?
The rural sustainability grant is, TIDC has been around for a number of years, but they have had, new programs come about. Their initial grants to counties, what they did was they assumed that the county would eventually take over the full funding of a grant. But as studies have shown, rural counties have difficulty with that. I mean, in all aspects, not just public defense, right? All kinds of public services. And so the Constitution contemplates that public defense is a state obligation. And so TIDC has sought money from the legislatures to help rural counties supplement or supplant, really, their public defense budgets.
Again, speaking from judges, there's a kind of love-hate thing going on with this because we're trapped in a system, so to speak, that doesn't always fully work. And,
Sure.
Just to give you an example, like in my court, when they made, I think, 25 cases, and 24 was Texas Rio Grande legal aids. So they had one attorney to serve the 24 defendants. And some of those defendants had multiple cases, but it makes for a long day, very hard to get through that. Just the resources were limited.
Yeah.
Other counties experience the same thing. I can say this: some counties have not gone to this program at all. DeWitt County is not playing in the indigent defense world, so they're paying $250,000 out of pocket for attorneys. Well, we're paying $220,000, and we have a program. So I don't know how long this. I mean, we're going to continue to play the game as long as the funding is there, I guess you'd say. But we have some growing pains with this as well. We were shocked with the new public defender's office out of Victoria. One of the calls that I was on, I was asking, can we have some part-time attorneys in the system? And they said no. It was all or nothing. And I was like, oh my God, you just put handcuffs on us. So I don't know how Victoria's going to ramp up and have all the attorneys available, but I guess collectively we're going to try it. And we're in with Victoria, Jackson County,
Refugio, yes.
Refugio went with this as well. So there's 4 counties in that public defender's office, and there's supposed to be 12 attorneys at some point.
It is tough, Judge, and I'll tell you, nationally, public defense is struggling right now with attracting attorneys to the business. But there's some reforms going on around, and with funding from TIDC, it helps when we can raise salaries and attract more attorneys to the business, and hopefully Victoria won't struggle with that for too long.
All right, thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Judge.
Do you have any other questions?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead, entertain a
Yes.
motion to approve. Again, this is short-term contract.
Are we on 7 or
We're on
8?
eight.
Your Honor, I move we approve a regional public defender contract between Lavaca County and Texas Rio Grande Legal Aid.
A second?
Motion made by precinct 1, seconded by precinct 2 to approve the regional public defender contract between Lavaca County and Texas Rio Grande Legal Aid Incorporated. Any other discussion? Not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. All right. Number 9, discuss and approve plan to revise the Lavaca County subdivision regulations. Again, there's no attachment with this. I just want to update the court. We mentioned maybe having a meeting of some sort or a workshop to discuss some subdivision regulations. What we have at this point is we've got an engineering firm that has agreed to come in on the 23rd at the Commissioner Court session and discuss from their point of view what we should be looking at as a county in our subdivision regulations. This firm was formerly called Doucette. I think it's D-O-U-C-E-T. They've since been bought out since we've been talking with them. We met them up in San Antonio at a conference, and they're agreeing to come in here and just give us some pointers and some things that we should be looking at as a deliberative body of what we should put in our subdivision regulations. So what I'm asking the court to do is, between now and the 23rd, is proofread our subdivision regulations, highlight what areas you want to ask questions to this engineering firm, and we're going to also ask the engineering firm to read our regulations as well. So when they come in here, they've read our regulations, and they may have highlighted some things we need to look at. So on the 23rd, maybe a longer agenda. And we'll start there. We're not making any decisions on the 23rd. We're just hearing their testimony, hearing comments about subdivisions, and we can start to formulate our own opinions, and then we'll go from there. We'll still probably have a workshop at a later date, and bring in area attorneys or title companies as well. That's where I'm at.
Okay. And, Judge, this engineering firm has helped craft these documents, these regulations for neighboring counties. Is that correct?
That's the way I understand it.
Yeah, so they seem to have some onboard experience, working with counties and
They came in, here is a month or so ago, they came to meet with us for lunch one day. They brought a Caldwell County Commissioner, who actually is also an engineer for the firm. And so, that's why I think I asked them, the board goes, Caldwell subdivision plans, Caldwell County subdivision plans, to look at, and I think they were part of that, something we probably want to proofread ours and look at Caldwell's, at least have a better understanding of what other counties are doing. And this is again, my argument to the state of Texas, is we're all over the place. Every county is trying to do their own thing, instead of a more streamlined approach. We're trying to protect ourselves, essentially. When we say subdivision plans, subdivision regulations, we're really talking about road regulations. That's what subdivision is. It's really the roads in there is that we're trying to establish some kind of control.
We do want control. We do not want somebody to come in and buy 2,000 acres of land and do what they want to. We need to have a little control over that.
And I'll add this, just came from an email, I've been checking emails over the weekend. The Colonians, that we've all heard about on the border, that have come in and established, and taken over, and they make their own rules. That's happening in North Houston right now.
Montgomery County, isn't it?
I believe it's actually Liberty County has a colony, I believe it represents 75,000 people.
and I read about it
75, that's a lot of people in one location.
6-8 years ago, it came out, and it had just gotten off the ground, and people's worst nightmare had been realized, because they sensed at the time that this was not gonna go well, and it has gone exactly as they thought. It is, there are no services there, people, the developer just sells people a little plot of ground, and they put literally a cardboard hut over living. And with those 75,000 people that are living in this planned community, from the developer, it has created an incredible burden on public services, on school, fire, EMS. It's just, it's just out of control. These people are innocent. They're illegal, they moved in here, and a developer basically totes the note and sells it to them by the month, by the week, whatever they can pay. And so it's bad, it's real bad, but we have to protect ourselves. We have to protect ourselves, because that can happen here. When somebody comes to you and offers you a once in a lifetime sum of money to purchase your land, you're probably going to listen. You're probably going to listen. You're going to say, you know what, and I can go, yeah. So we need some guidance